OK. Instantly one request ID will be generated. Request ID. OK. So this request ID. Once it is generated right, it will have a number. Let's say 1, 2, 3. So these number will be processed by this WS retry job. So once this WS retry, pick this 1, 2, 3 user and it will process it and the account will get created in XYZ application. Okay, so that is the thing. Like these are the topics that we discussed yesterday. Okay, so this is the connection right we created. Along with the connection right, I told you had to pass the information right. Like login credential URL and your driver details. And with that also, I told you are going to provide first name, last name, email ID and this metadata. Right. Actually these are divided into two parts, right. So all this metadata, what you are passing right, and all this connection information. So it is like your Savient is individual entity right. And the Savient application. Under that you have a part you're like called connector. So this connector, you are passing all this information. So these Savient data and this connector information right. And this connector is telling actually where you are going to create the user. So these two things, actually it is clubbed together. And we are going to place this value, this connector and this, user information, all this thing inside a placeholder. So that placeholder it is called as a security system. So if you talk about like security system, why again, it is needed, right? So this security system, basically it will help you to identify your different connector. That means today, the Savient. It is integrating this XYZ application right. Tomorrow you might have to integrate another application. Let's say this is like ABC and the application is a ServiceNow application right. So this ServiceNow application, when you are integrating with your Savient, you must have a name here, right? To identify if I tomorrow go in the Savient and see how many application already I have integrated right. So you'd go and check the security system here. It will be showing you because I have one application. It is named XYZ. Right, it will be showing you the connection like in a DB type and another application will be seeing. That is ABC and it is a ServiceNow application. So your main point of contact, it will be your security system. So security system is nothing but a placeholder. Likewise, if you take a real-life example, right? In your real-life example, where do you stay right? Where do we stay? We call it as a home. Right. And this home is just a placeholder for us. It is giving us different room, to store data, like we can stay and we can. Put furniture and we can make it as a store everything. So that is how you know. The same way, your security system is also a placeholder. What it is doing? It is containing two things. One is your. Basically it clubbed together like your connection. And your endpoint. So, if you remember, in a previous step I told, like you know, in connector information right. We are passing all the target application information. If this is our extra digit application, I am passing here URL your credential details. Your metadata information and what operation you are trying to perform. All those data right? So these are getting clubbed together with your security system. This security system. It is a bundle of or a container. It is containing all this information here in the connection and your endpoint. So basically, it is like you know, for security system will come to picture, inside that you will have your endpoint and inside that you will have your connection. So, endpoint, it is nothing, but again, like you know, it is just mentioning what you know, actually information. I'm holding it here. What information? That means all the account, whatever I created here right from Savient. If this is your Savient and you are trying to create user from Savient to your XYZ application, right? So these user will be stored inside your endpoint. Let me elaborate it more, actually, because this is a little complex thing. So this is your Savient right? And this is your HLMH. So if this is your Savient and this is your HLMH application, or we are reshaping your DB application, this DB application right? Let's say it has now 3 users. One is ABC and otherwise XYZ user and PQR, so it has 3 user. So these 3 user, when write, we do the recon write. What does the recon? It was like trusted recon. So these, through a trusted recon this user, it got onboarded to your Savient right. So once I mean on board into the C, so you would have seen these 3 user first. It is getting stored inside your Savient database, right? So that means, if you onboarded a new user into Savient, so Savient has this user. That means in your back end, there is a table called users. So it is first storing this user information in this table, all these 3 user. It will store it here. So all these 3 user first, it is getting stored here and Savient has this data. Then after that, when Savient is trying to integrate any new application, let's say we integrated this new application right. Let's say, this application is again. It is a database DBF application. And this is your target application, like Outlook application. So we are just resembling this application where it is trying to integrate. In connector came into the picture right, where we pass all this target details information here, like your URL, username, password, metadata and all this information. So once you pass this information right, our connection is prepared. So connection is prepared, this connection. It is getting held by your endpoint. Right. So it's just a wrapping. It is telling both this connection. It is belongs to me. That is what is my endpoint name. My endpoint name is DB application. So once this is built up, like you know, it is there right. So this endpoint, again it is wrapped under your security system. Why this security system coming to picture right? We might have like one security system can hold many endpoint. So, basically, in the security system, whenever I am mentioning, like you know, both go and hold this connection, like this DB. So for different purpose, right, we can have many DB application. We can, you know, put it into under it endpoint. So this DB application, like if it has a purpose, right? I want to manage this application.